So I think I confused a lot of people recently. And I confused people, I think, that saw my posts on Instagram where I was talking about preparing to go to live in Alaska. I think a lot of people were confused by that. And I think it's because people don't really know, nor should they know, right, that I love anything related to Alaska. It is true. I love anything related to Alaska. So I was sitting there and I was watching something on TV and I put this post up and then people were like, "What? You're moving to Alaska? Why are you moving to Alaska?" I didn't know you were moving to Alaska. I am not moving to Alaska. I'm not. It was basically a joke. And it was probably a joke that was better suited for my personal page than the page on Instagram related to comics, just because it was a little bit out of context. That was my bad. But I thought I would record this video because I think there's a couple of things here that I want to talk about. And let me put out there that when I talk about Alaska, what I'm talking about is specifically the TV shows about Alaska. If it's on like the Discovery Channel or Nat Geo or, any of those nature type shows, I am watching it. I also just dig nature shows in general, right? Like Oceans and Earth and Planet and all those series that have been out on Netflix and various streaming services. I watch all of that stuff, but I specifically like things that are based in Alaska. And I'm talking like ice road truckers and Alaskan state troopers and Alaskan bush people and life below zero. If it is a show on Alaska, I am going to sit there and watch it. Deadliest Catch. Oh my goodness. I love that show. I love it. And I am not moving to Alaska, but there is something compelling about these shows. There is, the nature aspect of it, the freedom aspect of it, the survival part. And a lot of what I really, really enjoy when it comes to these Alaskan things are those subsistence livers. And I don't know if you guys have seen these shows, but these people are basically off the grid. They are surviving off of the land. They are like scrappy homesteaders that have declared for one reason or another, I am going to go to this remote area and I am going to survive. I am going to eke out a living. I am going to chop down trees and haul wood and fish and hunt and survive in the wild because that's what I want to do. I find that fascinating and I have no desire to do it. I have absolutely no desire to do it, but I love watching these people out there survive. One of the big components of a lot of these shows is the hunting and gathering. And I am not a hunter. I have never shot an animal in the wild for any reason, but I do like firearms. I do like going to the range, but I've never actually shot an animal. And a big component of these shows is how these people go out and hunt. And they hunt not for sport, but they hunt for survival. They hunt to feed their families. They hunt to feed themselves. They hunt to live another day. And I find that component of what they do to be exhilarating. It is exhilarating to watch them go out there and do what it is that they do. Not for glory, but simply to survive another day. We don't do that, right? We don't do that. We go to the grocery store, we buy some food, we come home, we cook it, and that's our relationship with that food. Whereas these folks, they go out there and they hunt and they gather and they are intimately involved with the things that they consume. And I really find that fascinating. And I was recently talking with another collector about eBay, and this person's like, I really don't like eBay. I really don't like it. And I was like, well, what is it that you don't like about eBay? And the person's response was that there's no excitement with it. There's no excitement with going to eBay and clicking a couple of buttons and then having a box show up. There's nothing exciting about that. And while this person is talking, I'm nodding my head, and they can't see me nodding my head like an idiot. They can't see me nodding my head like an idiot as I wait for those three little dots to turn into some words that I read, right? But I agree. And this is not a criticism of people that go to eBay. This is not that. This is not that, right? This is basically saying that there is a thrill that comes from the hunt. There is a thrill and an excitement, and there is something exhilarating about hunting for comics in the wild. You don't know what you're going to find. When you go into that shop and you start digging in these boxes, you have no clue what the next book is going to be, and that is part of the fun. The exhilaration that comes from flipping that next comic and the anticipation of what is there. Is it something that I want? Is it something that I've never seen? Is it going to be a fantastic book for $1, right? I mean, that's an exaggeration, but there is something really fun that comes with the hunting of comics in the wild. And there are a lot of people that don't have that opportunity to do that. And I get it because of where they live or whatever it happens to be. But one of the things that I'm very fortunate about is that I live in a part of the country where I can actually go out there and hunt for books in the wild. And it is so much fun, right? When I travel for work and I have an opportunity to go to a shop that I've never been to before, and I don't know the layout, I don't know how they organize the books, I don't know whether, they just got in a collection. I don't know anything, but I'm there and I'm looking and I'm hunting and I'm trying to find something, anything, even if it's a book that I don't want, but it's a cool book. I take a moment to revel in that. I take a moment to acknowledge the cool factor associated with finding that book. And there have been people out there that I think I have actually inspired to go out there and hunt for comics. I think that there are people out there that I've actually inspired to go beyond their normal LCSs, to take a little bit of a drive, to go to the shop that they've never been to before. Maybe it's one that they've heard about, but they've never been there. And I think I've inspired people to do that. And to me, that is awesome. That is a wonderful feeling. And if you haven't done it, if you haven't yet ventured outside, if you haven't yet taken that little road trip, I want to encourage you to do it, man. I want to encourage you to go outside of your comfort zone. Go where the opportunities might be. Go to that local comic shop an hour away. Go to that comic shop that might be an extra, 15 minutes beyond where you normally go. Go to that bookstore. Go to that antique store. Go out there and see what's out there. Flea markets, go to them. Here's the thing. You may come back empty-handed, just like those hunters on my favorite shows. You may come back empty-handed. But man, you are still living the life. You are still living the life. And if you look enough times, if you hunt enough times, if you're open to going where you haven't been before, maybe sooner or later you just might score that moose or caribou. I've been watching too much Alaskan TV this weekend. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this recording. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, I want to encourage you to leave a comment behind so we can mix it up in the comment section. If you've been out to hunt and you found some goodness, I want to hear about it. Leave a comment behind. I want to hear about it. If you ventured out and found some good stuff or had a good time, whatever it is, even if you didn't score big, I want to hear about it. So leave those comments in the comment section so we can talk about it. And like I said, if you enjoyed this video, I definitely want to encourage you to give a thumbs up. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects, or you can send me an email to reggie@regiecollects.com. And if you're feeling frisky, and who isn't feeling frisky when we're talking about hunting comics, make sure you visit the website at regiecollects.com. Take care.